Hi there. I'm doing a quick demo of the Gather mapmaker. So when you first get to the mapmaker, it looks like this, a bit of help text in the beginning, and you have no maps or anything. So let's just start by copying a template. So say we wanted to do maybe a big social conference. We can name it myconf. So we'll copy this. It's gonna do the copying and it tells me, okay, I now have 3 maps. So the template that I started with apparently was 3 rooms. We now have my conference social big, my conference social beach, and my conference social bar. So let's just make an example space to see what this even looks like. So I'll just go to gather.town, create a space, and now down here, well, we'll call it my conf test. And then down here are all of my custom maps that I have. So here's the one that I just made, my conference social big, and we'll create this new space. So here we are. I'm Nate, and we have this giant conference map. Let's just take a look at the mini map to see where we are. All right, great. So we can walk around here, look around. Go into the more social space. So this is one of the other maps that was copied. So we can look at the mini map again. So this was the beach half of the map. And then the third room was up here in the bar. So this was another part of the template that we copied from. So now we have our own copy of all of these maps and we can edit them as we please. So for example, say that I don't think this is enough tables right here. I want to add some more tables near the entryway. What we can do is we can go back to the map maker, we can import a map, and we'll import one of the ones that we just made. So I have a bunch, but the one that we just made are these 3. So if we take my conference social bar, we can import this, and here we can see the whole map. So if I zoom out some, this is a great illustration of a bunch of the stuff you can do with the map maker. So right here in the middle, first of all, is the spawn point. So if you make a space where this is the main map, then people will spawn on these green tiles. The red highlights are impassable tiles. So I can see that this table, you can't walk on this table. And if I hold shift and click right here, I remove the impassability. So now people can step on those tiles. I'll just leave it like that as an example. We can export and see walking on that table. These are some objects which we'll talk about in object mode in a second. But in general, you can add and remove effects as you please. So for example, if you go into spawn mode, you can shift click to remove these spawn points, and click and drag to put more back. So say I want more spawn points for some reason right here. That's great. But what I came for is to add some more tables here. So if I go into object mode over on the right, I can now remove these tables by shift clicking on the top corner, or I can add some more. So if I want to place a new object here, we can put a set table, and you can change all of these. So this is like the image. The normal image is like what it looks like when you're just walking around. The image when activated is how it looks if you get really close and you're close enough to interact. These are often the same image, but sometimes you'll want the you'll want a highlighted image for the activated version. And then this loading icon is just what it shows while it loads this website. And this is what we really care about. So this example is going to have setwithfriends.com as the game. And let's see, I'll put another one down right here. And of course, you can change any of these boxes. So if you want it to look like a poker table, you can add a poker table asset, which I'll demo in a bit, or you can use the defaults. Okay, so we've made a couple of example changes, and I'll explain some of the other stuff that's going on in a minute. But just to show what's happening so far, if we want to save these changes, which was making this table walkable and adding a couple of these set tables, changing the spawns around. Oh, and you'll notice if I hover here, I can see some information about this object. So like its position, the normal highlighted, and then these properties like the URL and stuff like that. But anyways, when we're happy with some changes or we want to test them, we can export the map. And so by default, it'll be the same map that you imported, which is great. You can always export to create a new map also if I wanted to make a copy or something that's just a bar. But in this case, we'll just update the existing one. So it'll load for a second and then upload successful. Okay, so now if we go back here, it automatically reloaded the map and we can see our changes are in place. So there are these tables right here, which we could interact with to play set with friends. And the spawn points you can't see, but if we go over to this table, you can see this table I can't walk onto, but this table I can because I edited the impassability of those tiles. So that's just some basic map editing. Let me talk about some of the other features we have. So you may have noticed that all these chairs had special highlights also in the map maker, and what these are is private spaces. So if you haven't seen private spaces, anyone who steps on this tile can only connect to people, will always be connected to other people who are stepping on 8s, and can only connect to people who are stepping on 8s. I'm automatically connected to everybody else on these chairs, and only people on these chairs around this table. It's a private conversation around this table. And so that's what these mean. And if you go into spaces mode, you can change this. So if I don't want this table to have some private spaces, I can just remove them by shift clicking. Or if I want to put the private space back, I think it was 7, I can put a 7 here, and then I can add them like this. You'll notice now they have little circles around them, which means they'll be colored. So if I want to put private spaces all the way around this table, for example, I can export this map again, and after a second, it'll reload here, and now I can see I have these like colored private spaces all the way around this table. And of course I can still walk on the table because I didn't put the impassability back. If I wanted to do that, then I would just go into impassable mode, click and drag like that, and now the table is not walkable anymore. Okay, great. So I've made a few example edits to this map. But what if I want to do something more extreme? So say I don't want a bar up here. What I really want is a keynote talk or something like that. So what I can do is I can copy a new template. I can take this small keynote room. Oh, whoops, I need to choose a name. I can take this small keynote room for my conference. And okay, great. So now that one exists, and what I need to do is edit the portals. So when I walk through this door right here, there are portals to this door, and vice versa if I walk backwards. So that's great. I just need to change where this teleports you to. So if I go back into import a new map, the room that I was in there was the conference social beach. So we'll import this one. And now we're editing this huge map. And if we go all the way up here, these are black, so it's hard to see. But if you hover over it, the portals tell you the destination map is my conference social bar, which is the one we were just editing. That's this one. And the location is 4738, which we can figure that out. We can figure out where it needs to go in a bit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into portal mode, and I'm going to shift click to remove these portals so it doesn't teleport you anymore to that map, and instead I'm going to click here and add a new portal to my new room, my conference small keynote, and I'm just going to guess 5.5. We can update them in a second. But okay, so now I have a portal right here in this corner. Oh, oops, I don't want that. So I have a portal right here in this corner. And let's just export this to see what it looks like. So I'm going to export this, and it knows again, like I imported from Social Beach, so I'm going to export to that one. And there we go. So now it's going to refresh. And now if I try to go back through these portals, there's nothing there. So I can just walk through it, except in the corner where I put the portal on purpose. And so now I'm teleported into the keynote room. Great. But I really would like to walk into the keynote room over here. I want to end up here. I don't want to start at 5.5 where I started. So how are we going to do this? Okay, we can import the keynote room and zoom out a bunch here. And we can say, okay, I want to show up down here. So which tile is this? I'm hovering over here, and it tells me in the bottom right that the map XY is 20, 26, 21, 26, 22, 26. So I need to remember that. 20, 26, 21, 26. Okay, 20, 26 is where we're starting. So we'll go back to the map we were editing, which is my conference social beach. And now we need to add portals to the correct place, which is right here. So I'm going to go back into portal mode. I just remove this portal by shift clicking, and now I'll put it back. And we'll put it at 1926. And then we'll put another one right here for 2026. Put another one right here for 2126. And then 2226. And 2326. Okay, great. And so now I need to remember where to teleport back to. So these tiles, it looks like, are 47, 4 through 51, 4. So let me export this one to save it. Yeah, that's the one. And then, great. And then we'll import the keynote room. Where did it go? The keynote room. And we'll add portals so that you can get back. All right, so we need a portal right here, which goes to, oh, what did I say? I think 46, 4 on the conference social beach map. So we'll put that one there. Well, and you can see it's on a dark background, but the normal portal color is blue. I'll just put an example one right here. So normally portals are a blue shading on this grid. It shows up as gray for me because I have a screen flux on, but anyways, we'll keep putting some portals down. So 46, 47, 4, and then 48, 4, 49, 4, and then 54. Oh, you know, I think it was 49 through 54. So let's find out. Okay, so we're going to export this one now that we've added the portals. Great. This will reload us. And okay, so let's try walking up. So right here, there shouldn't be portals. Great. There shouldn't be portals here, but right here, there should be a portal. And here we are in the keynote room. That's great. Okay, so now we're teleporting into the right spot. We're not teleporting into the top left corner. And from here, let's try going back. All right, so let's see if it lines up well. So if I go all the way to the side here, that's right. If I go all the way to the side over here, it's off by 1, but that's okay for demo purposes. So now we've replaced one of these rooms, and this is the keynote room now. So we'll go back to the main map, and I want to show you just a few more things that the mapmaker can do. So you've seen impassable mode, spawn mode, portal mode, object mode, spaces mode. Danger mode is a hidden mode, so I'm not going to talk about that. The last thing is asset mode and the object system. So if we wanted to just add some assets to this map, we can click anywhere. I'll just put something right here in the middle. And so you can choose from some example assets. So I could plop a tall plant down right here in the middle of the map. That's fine. So we have some example ones for you, but you can also upload your own. So if I want to upload black door 4x2 or something like that, then I can see up here black door 4x2, and I can create this. Oh, that doesn't show up well because it's a black map. But if I realize I've made a mistake, I can always shift click on the top left corner, it disappears. I can go back and choose something more interesting, like a chair. So we'll create that. And now I can just export this again, and it'll go to my conference small keynote. Great. So now if I go back here, go back up into the keynote room, I can see my plant and my chair that I placed, which is great. So that is pretty much it for the map maker. You can also create your own backgrounds. So we provide some examples, but if you want, you can start from scratch, do some pixel art of your own. And we have some recommendations on this for the Google Doc, but you could use something like, for example, this is some custom pixel art. So we can start with this as our background, and then make it so that people can't walk off the map, something like this. Add walls just by clicking and dragging. Oops. So we can add some impassable tiles, and I'm shift clicking to remove. So shift click to remove that one. We don't want people walking on the TV. Oops. Bookshelves, same deal. So we can add impassable tiles this way. And then every map needs a spawn, so we can put a spawn point maybe right here. Something like that, or one over here. You can, if you have multiple spawn points, then it'll just choose one at random. I don't think we need any portals for this map, so I'll just block off the doorway. And then we can add a set table maybe in the corner over here, because I like set. And there are lots of other different object types. I encourage checking them out, seeing what they can do. There's a description on each one, which gives you a bit more information about what's possible here. But anyways, we can create a set table down there. Maybe add some more plants, because this room is a little bare. So we can put a tall plant up there or something like that. Great. And then maybe just make it so people can't walk on the table. And then we can export this map. So maybe I want to create a new map. So I can call this one library map or something like that. Nate's library map. So I can create this, and great. So now I can go to Gather Town again, create a new space, library, and go down to my Nate library map. Where is it? Here it is. Create this space. And let's see. Okay, so I've randomly spawned on the left side, but I could have spawned over on the other side because we have 2 spawn points. You can see the impassable stuff that we put in place is working. I can't walk off the map, stuff like that. We got this nice set table over here. You can play set with your friends. And this is a totally custom background, which is always an option in the map maker. So good luck, enjoy. I hope this demo helps, and until next time.